Look, Chris Stapleton on a Thursday morning. Thanks for being with us. Mornings with Richard Cross, broadcasting live from the Jackson Convention Complex. Today is the annual meeting for MEC, one of their three big events across the calendar each year, and I am pleased to be joined now by Jean Massey. She is Executive Director, Ascent to 55%. We'll talk about Ascent in just a moment. That's through MEC, works with Mississippi Propel Education Forum. I have to ask you what Lance and I were talking about a little while ago. Apparently, he had more than one meeting with a paddle back when Dr. Boyce was principal at Northwest Franklin. Said you followed. He is convinced that you are now the keeper of the paddle. Can you?
I am not the keeper of the paddle.
Okay.
No, Lance, I don't have it, so I can't give it to you
Yes,
as a
I wanted
souvenir.
it. Yeah, I wanted it.
I'm sure you did, but I do not have the paddle. Richard Morrison may have it, so you might want to check with him.
That's right.
I think Lance feels like there might be an ownership claim there because of his frequency of use. I don't know.
He could be. We'll check on that and see. If Richard Morrison has it, I'll get it to you.
You're
Lance.
the best. You're the best.
You and I were talking off air a little bit about Leadership Mississippi.
Yes.
That is a program with which you are involved and have been involved. It's you don't run the entire program. This is your 51 for Leadership Mississippi, which is incredible. We're talking half a century at this point.
Yes, we are. It's the second oldest leadership program in the country.
Oh, really?
Yes, we have 45 individuals that began on Tuesday. Phenomenal class from all across the state.
I think there are people that need to hear a little bit more about Leadership Mississippi. There are lots of local programs, different communities. I live in Oxford. Leadership Lafayette is a program for Lafayette County that has existed for a number of time, I don't know, a long time. It's probably been 15 years ago that I went through that program. I've still got friends. I've still got business acquaintances that were in that class with me. What do people across the state need to know about the state version, Leadership Mississippi?
In some ways, it's like your local versions. We have the professional development that our individuals go through on leadership, on how to work. But the big thing is it lets them understand what's not just what's in your local community, but how your local community fits into the entire state. And it also lets you understand that what's happening on the coast may not be the exact same thing that's happening in the Delta, but we all have similar problems. Mm-hmm. And we can work together to solve those problems, because the only way our state's going to be successful as a state is if all parts of our state can prosper. So making those relationships not just in your community but across the entire state is so valuable. And like you had those relationships inside your organization, now you have those relationships completely across the state.
It certainly is something that makes a lot of sense. I'm assuming that there are people that are listening that might be intrigued by this, but they, I don't know, in terms of a time commitment, what does that look like? So what is the time commitment for attendees?
We will open applications for the next year's class beginning in October, November. The selection comes out in early January. We have 4 face-to-face sessions where we do across the state, Jackson, the coast. We're going to Cleveland this year and to Starkville for 2 days at each time. And it's not a huge commitment, but it does take time. Yeah. But the value from it is worth every minute spent in it.
Certainly investing in yourself or your company investing in you if you go that route. All right, so tell me about Ascent to 55%. What is this program?
Ascent to 55% is working to make sure that we have certifications, associate degrees, bachelor's degrees or above for our adult population in Mississippi to improve our state's economy and to improve our individuals' success as a family.
Yeah. So 55% is the target percentage.
55% is our target by 2030.
Okay.
That's not where we need to get. We need more adults than that with those post-secondary certifications and degrees. We've got 55% by 2030, 60% by 2035, and we really need to go beyond that because in Mississippi, over 70% of the jobs are going to require some post-secondary training. Yeah.
Where is that number right now?
That number right now has grown from when the Education Achievement Council set the goal. Mm-hmm. From 44%, we're at all at 49%.
Okay. So knocking on the door and probably an attainable goal. And you said by 2030.
2030.
All right. So the clock's ticking a little bit to hit that goal. You laid out a number of avenues there because we've heard for years and years college isn't for everyone. It's certainly something that is encouraged. But as high school students are moving toward graduation and they've got to figure out what's next, it feels like it's important for people to know that there are a lot of options. And it doesn't have to be going to a 4-year college.
That's right. We've got to change our definition of college to begin with.
Okay.
College is not what a lot of times when you go to college, you think a 4-year university.
Mm-hmm.
College is a lot more than 4-year university. You think about everything we have to offer in Mississippi through our 2-year programs. Our community colleges, we have those 15 community colleges that are best in the country, and they have multiple campuses.
It's an incredible system.
It's an incredible system. And they not only offer associate degrees in academic areas and career and technical areas, they also have a separate workforce development side that you can earn valuable certifications that can lead you to a pathway back to an associate degree if you want it. That associate degree can then lead you to a bachelor's degree or above in either the career and technical side now or the academic side. Our universities have done a great job of adding bachelors of applied science. Mm-hmm. At one time, if you got a career and technical associate degree, an applied science degree, it was what we think of as a terminal degree. That was all you could do with it.
Right.
No longer is that true. You can take that applied science degree now, and you can go on to Mississippi State, Ole Miss, several of our other universities, and get a bachelor's of applied science.
I operated in the sports space for a long time. And we talk about rivalries in college athletics, Ole Miss and Mississippi State being chief among them. But on the career training side, the workforce development side, it really is impressive to see how well Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Southern Miss, community colleges have all worked together kind of for the betterment.
That's one of the things that we can be proud of in this state. Dr. Susan Seals from Mississippi State is on a panel that we have later today that will talk a lot about how Mississippi State has worked with those entities that you talked about to develop programs to help our individuals move forward.
Well, so that relationship at Mississippi State and Dr. Boyce, the chancellor at Ole Miss, obviously a former colleague of yours as well, somebody that was intimately involved with the community college system in Mississippi, and I think recognizes how important that is and how important that relationship needs to be.
I agree with you. When you've had someone that's come through a system like Dr. Boyce has, from the high school setting to the community college setting, the IHL board, now at Ole Miss, he understands all those areas, and that's what we need are individuals that can connect the dots. We can't keep working in silos. It's not just K-12 doing this, community college doing this, and IHLs or our 4 years, our public or private doing this. It's got to be all of us working together in a seamless piece for our adults. We have over 320,000 adults in this state that have some college credit but no degree, no certification.
Right.
How do we bring them back in a seamless manner to get them a certification that would allow them to be more successful?
You've used the word certificate or certification a lot. Dr. Courtney Taylor, when we talk with her from Accelerate, she talks about certificate programs as well. Can we put a face with that name? What are we talking about specifically? Because I think people hear that and they're like, okay, a certificate, but what does that mean and what does that entitle me to or open a door for?
Sure. On the workforce development side, in our community colleges, they have programs that are like 15 hours, and I can get a level 1 in welding.
Okay.
But if I want to go back and do additional, I can do another 15 hours, have 30, and have a higher level of certification.
Okay.
I can do 45 and get another certification. A lot of jobs, diesel mechanic, diesel technician, I get that lower level, but I go back and get that next certification. It's a bump in salary. It's a bump in pay.
Okay.
So those certifications that lead to a good job that can have a sustainable wage for my family are the certifications we're talking about.
And largely those are in trades.
Most of those are in trades. There are a lot of little certifications, even in engineering. in accounting.
Yeah.
There are different certifications along the way that help you move forward.
Well, and I guess no different than when you would hear teachers in the past talked about working toward board certification, and once you have that, it leads to a pay bump, gives you the ability to advance as well.
That's true. You think about teaching, you start out with maybe a child care, working in a child care area, and then you move up to a teacher. Then you move up in administration or to that board.
Yeah. Great stuff. Jean Massey visiting with us this morning. Thanks so much for your time. It's a pleasure visiting with you, and a lot of good stuff going on with both Leadership Mississippi and Ascent to 55%. We'll track those numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you. More coming up with you as we broadcast live from MEC's annual meeting. We are at the Jackson Convention Complex. Quick time out. This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.